I'm Dina Levinson.
I'm Christy Reynolds.
And I'm Kenza Morgan.
Well, it is February 2nd, and if any of you forgot, it is Groundhog's Day. Unfortunately, the groundhog did predict that we have 6 more weeks of winter. We'll just have to wait and see if this tradition has any truth to it. But looking on the brighter side of things, February 2nd marks the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So marked by the calendar, winter is half over. And I am not sad to say that.
Me either. I'm so happy winter is almost over. Put away the snow boots.
Yeah, the weather's gonna get warmer finally.
I'm so happy.
Although we may be halfway through winter, the global financial crisis is showing no signs of ending anytime soon. This was the topic discussed at the World Economic Forum held over the weekend in Davos, Switzerland. Now, the World Economic Forum is an annual summit where heads of state and the top business leaders from around the world go to Switzerland to talk about the current status of the world economy. And basically the theme for this year's meeting was shaping the post-crisis world. However, although we're not able to come to any plan as to how to fix the crisis, which has impacted many countries, one idea that got a lot of support was basically having more regulators, basically to try and regulate banks, not only here in the United States, but around the world to stabilize the international financial system. However, it is noteworthy that although many heads of state did attend the summit, people who were absent were many of the top executives from firms that are on Wall Street. Basically, they decided to stay in the U.S. and try and fix their issues here at home. Speaking of fixing things on the home front, improving our national economy is a top priority for President Barack Obama. However, the United States is not the only country that's been impacted by the global financial crisis. It's also impacted many nations, including those that are very rich in natural resources. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out.
In other international news, the people of Iraq have probably taken a large step towards democracy as they had their first provincial election since 2005, ending Saturday evening. More than 14,400 candidates were approved, including around 4,000 female candidates, which was a big deal for them, with about 15 million Iraqis registered to vote. The voting ended with celebration as it was a peaceful election, unlike the violence caused by the Al-Qaeda terrorist group during the election in 2005. The preliminary results of the votes are expected to be within the next 5 days, so we'll have to look out and see what happens with that. But Obama definitely congratulated Iraq on their voting and for a peaceful election.
It's definitely a big step.
Yes.
It's great news.
We have more election news coming out of another oil exporting country. Today marks the 10th anniversary of the inauguration of Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. 10 years ago he was inaugurated and began the period of the movement of social reforms he's called the Bolivarian Revolution. Now, although Chavez has been in power for a decade, his rule has been very controversial. He's sort of severed his relations with the United States. However, he has stated that he wants to he talked about his accomplishments over the past 10 years, and those include a reduction in poverty, reducing illiteracy, also improving health care. However, the opposition has basically stated that Chavez is personally responsible for Venezuela receiving the highest rate of inflation in all of South America. So this is obviously not good news. However, Chavez still wants to hold on to power. 10 years has not been enough for him. As a result of that, on February 15th, he's holding a national referendum where the Venezuelan people will go to the polls and they will vote whether to amend the Constitution to basically remove term limits from the office of president. So basically, he'd be able to be president for life, be able to keep even though he's been in for 10 years, he could stay as long as he wanted to. The outcome of this will obviously be determined in a couple of weeks. However, President Barack Obama stated when he was elected and even when he was campaigning, he wants to improve American relations with South America. He wants to basically try and, specifically with Venezuela, try and heal that rift. However, last fall, relations between Venezuela and the United States reached a new low when Chavez expelled the American ambassador to the U.S. In response, the U.S. expelled our ambassador to Venezuela. So whether or not relations will improve between the two countries remains to be seen. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
Hopefully it does.
Well, in political news, we have a new Secretary of State. Our 67th Secretary of State is Hillary Clinton. She's very happy to be in office now, but there's only one problem. She is in debt. In June, her debt was $25.2 million. She's gotten some support from her followers, and now she's only in debt. She has $5.9 million in debt right now. She owes to about 5 creditors. And actually, her mom is sending out emails asking supporters to help her out and to lend her money, saying that this will be the last time that they ask for help. There's actually an act called the Hatch Act, and Hillary Clinton can't directly ask people for money because she is Secretary of State, but her mother and other people indirectly ask people to support her and have more money given to her so she gets out of debt. And being that Hillary Clinton is now the Secretary of State for New York, Kirsten Gillibrand, is now the Senator for New York. She comes right here from Albany. She has 2 sons, and she was a lawyer, and we're very happy with it.
Here we are. Albany, I guess we're going to put it on the map.
We are, finally. We got upstate representation in the city.
I'm so surprised Hillary Clinton is in debt. I mean, I'm hoping that with her job,
I figured they had a lot of money. I really did, and I was very surprised that they were in debt.
That's definitely something that they would not want to speak about unless it was necessary.
I'm sure she's going to get bailed out of it, though. I mean, she has so many supporters and everything, and she made such a big stride by going, into the presidential candidacy.
yeah. I mean, 25 million, that's like a lot of debt.
Oh, I know.
So, as you all know, yesterday was the Super Bowl. So, to all you Steeler fans, congratulations for having them win. But something very strange happened. In Tucson, Arizona, a few of the Super Bowl fans caught 10 seconds of eye-popping pornographic imagery that flashed across the screen during one of the scenes. So, that's kind of strange. According to Comcast, their initial investigations suggest that this was an isolated, malicious act. I guess somebody hacked into their system and
That's
Sure,
really
that is pretty.
That's
well, someone
awful.
hacked in, that's impressive.
I know. Imagine just watching the Super Bowl and you're enjoying yourself and you're like,
But how uncomfortable the families watching the Super Bowl with their young kids and you have pornographic images popping across the screen. It should be a family event. Something nice.
I don't know, I wonder if they're going to find out who did it, if they can trace it back.
That would be interesting if they
I
find
know, that's
out.
crazy. That's worse than Janet Jackson.
That is worse than Janet, I have to say.
Well, in more serious news, more national, Senator Jeffrey to Commerce, this is a maybe. President Obama may be appointing Republican New Hampshire Senator Jeb Grett to his cabinet as head of the Commerce Department. His first choice, New Mexico's Governor Bill Richardson, was dropped from consideration after a grand jury investigation took place over state contracts being issued to political donors. Selecting the senator would put Democrats within reach of a 60-person filibuster-proof majority. In the Senate, a Democrat New Hampshire Governor John Lynch decides to appoint a Democrat to fill Gregg's place. At this time, Democrats hold a 56-41 majority in the 100-member Senate of our state.
Wow. Well, in some lighter news about Obama, at his inauguration, his girls, Sasha and Malia, wore J. Crew. And the following day, J. Crew site actually crashed because the amount of people going on the site to buy J. Crew attire just because his daughters wore to the inauguration. So these girls are making a fashion image. And actually, a company called TY Incorporated made 2 dolls about the girls, and Michelle Obama is in an outrage. She thinks it's so inappropriate that her girls are used for a marketing campaign. She quoted that it's inappropriate to use the girls for marketing purposes. What do you guys think about that? Marketing young girls?
I know, that's
Crazy. That is crazy, especially without telling them or anything like
Yeah,
that.
it's one thing to make a fashion statement and people to like their fashion, but to actually use them for, money gain,
Yeah.
it's
It's
ridiculous.
funny because Ty said they just like the names, that dolls actually aren't supposed to be imitations of
Right,
Sasha and Malia, but they just like the name Sasha and Malia.
But obviously,
Yeah, I know. It seems a little
too
strange.
big. I
No
agree.
way.
Definitely.
And to continue on topic with our president, Mr. Obama, is there a new cyber circle? It looks that way. It's now the ultimate status symbol to have received the President Barack Obama's BlackBerry email address. In Washington, it is now judged whether or not you're in or out based upon whether or not you have it. The few that do have it include Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Richard J. Durbin, and those who are members of the President's Chief of Staff. There were some who did not exchange emails regularly with Obama, who now no longer have access, including Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, and Anthony Lake, who served in foreign affairs during his campaign. In Washington, it seems what it's all about.
Status around there.
Exactly. If you don't have an email address, I guess you're just not in the loop.
Well, everybody, Michael Phelps was caught in the act. He was at a party at South Carolina University, and a British photog took a picture of him smoking a bomb. Now, Michael Phelps says, quote unquote, it was inappropriate youthful behavior, and he really regrets it. He really does. He's 23 years old. He has one prior offense when he was 19 years old. He had 18 months probation, actually. He was arrested for driving while intoxicated in Maryland. So, I mean, he's supposed to be a role model. I mean, he did a very, inappropriate thing. But what do you guys think? I mean, do you think people are going to view him differently now because this happened?
He made us lose his endorsements. I mean, if it's his second offense, even if it's not legally, it just looks bad, especially considering he's a role model.
Possible, especially being a role model for so many children, being a gold medal Olympic swimmer. It's just, how could you possibly do that,
He definitely risked a lot, though, because he does make a lot of money in endorsements, advertisements. I mean, wasn't he on the lead?
At the same time,
right?
At the same time, he's young, so I can kind of understand that.
I mean, he had one prior offense, though. He was 19.
You have to take responsibility for who you are in the public.
You kind of have to grow up a little faster when you're in the public eye. Absolutely.
Definitely true.
Definitely.
Okay. And in New Albany news, Recycle Mania is back. This almost 2-month-long competition, which runs from today, February 2nd, to March 28th, puts quad against quad and school against school. The University of Albany is going to compete against 500 other colleges and universities, including other SUNY schools like SUNY Binghamton and Stony Brook. So the quad that wins this competition will receive the Great Dane Trophy that Indian Quad has held on for 2 years. So good luck to all you other quads. And in addition to UAlbany news, UA You Know You Want Some. That's the name of the new UAlbany ice cream. It is black raspberry ice cream with French vanilla swirl and chocolate chunks. Sounds pretty good.
I'll be trying some of that.
Yeah. I guess you can get some at a dining quad near you.
Very nice.
Very nice. So that's everything for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm Dana Levinson.
I'm Christy Reynolds.
Carlos Mion.
And I'm Kenzie Martin.
And this was Night News. Thank you.
Thank you.